After you've gone through the checkout, navigate to the Trish Newbery homepage. On the top right, you will see a button entitled Login. Simply click on that and that will take you to the login screen where you can enter your email and password. You'll know you've logged into your account when the login button changes to log out. Along the top of the page you'll see some buttons. The first button is called My Account. If you click this will take you to your account dashboard. On the left hand side you will see all the sections you are able to access. Simply click on the section called My Downloadable Products and that will show you a list of all your recent orders. Come to the right and find the order that you wish to print out. In this case, I want the unlined shopping bag pattern with 22 pages. Click on the highlighted pattern and save it to a location of your choice. Then simply navigate to that folder in your computer when you're ready. When you find that folder, double-click on the PDF and that will open in a PDF viewer, which is normally Acrobat. Along the top of your viewer you will find various buttons. I find the easiest button is this one to start working with. It enables the page to be fit to one screen, so click on that. Now you simply need to page up and page down until you find the page that has the size check square on it. This is the first page we're going to print and it's simply to check the size is correct before we go ahead and print the rest of our pattern pages up. When you're ready, click on File, Print, and this will bring up your printer settings. The main thing we need to make sure of is that we want to make sure we print actual size. We do not want to fit or to shrink. We want actual size. Your printer settings may be different. In addition to this, we do not want to print out all the pages at this stage. We simply want to print out the page with the check square on it. So if your check square was on page 1, come to Pages to Print and click Pages and just make sure you print number 1. When you're ready, click on the Print button. What we need to do now is check our print square for accuracy of size. The size check square here is 10 centimeters, so make sure that this square equals 10 centimeters. Now for reference of those that work in Imperial, I've said 4 inches, but that's actually just a guideline. 4 inches is actually 3.94 of a decimal inch or 3 15/16 of an inch. So make sure you check that with your own measurement system to make sure your pattern will be correct. Here you can see I have a decimal ruler, a metric system, and that's 10 centimeters. And if I take my tape measure, we can see that that box is just short of 4 inches here. If this box is the same width as height, then your pattern is ready to finish the printing process. Come back to your document and click File, Print. Check again that this box is on actual size, and either you can print all, which will give you another copy of the size check page, or click on pages 2 to 22 or whatever the range is that you now require. When you're happy, click the Print button. If you want to, you can go into the advanced properties and print this out as draft. However, most of my patterns are mainly printed as black on white with grain lines and fold lines or pleat lines in red. So it doesn't use too much ink, but if you do want to save ink, just change your settings to draft. On my printer app, I click on Properties, and down here I change the quality settings to whatever I want. When you're ready, click the OK button and then click Print. For other patterns, you will find that there are multiple files to download. If we go into my account, My Downloadable Products, here you can see, for example, there is a copy shop file, a file for the lay plan, the information sheet, the construction sequence, as well as for the PDF pattern itself. I've designed it this way so you only need to print out what you require. Let's say, for example, we want to just print out the information sheet. I'm going to save the information sheet to the same file that I saved the pattern to. When I open it up in Adobe, it will come up as one page. For this document, depending on whether you work in A4 or letter size paper, it's a good idea to shrink this page to size. Go File, Print, and instead of actual size, let's click on Fit. That will make sure that there is the optimum setup for your printer and paper type. And when you're ready, click Print. You can repeat this process for the other files if you require them. So now you have your pattern printed, we need to put it together. There are a couple of things you're going to need. You're going to need scissors or a paper trimmer, and you're going to need either some sticky tape or some stick glue. I use this clear tape here as I find it lasts longer, but if you prefer to use stick glue, well, that's entirely up to you as well. With our patterns, what you will find is they're called trim patterns, which means we need to trim them. I use trim patterns because I find the finished product is a far more accurate pattern. This also means we need to trim these pages. But don't worry, we don't have to trim all four. What I've found works really well is if you just make a decision to trim either the bottom and one side, we can put the pattern together quite quickly. You also don't need to trim these one at a time. We can do them in bulk. The way I've found works really well is to trim the bottom and the right hand side. What I do is, because all of the pages, unless your printer has printed off square, are all lined up, I get 3 or 4 pages together all at once and then use my scissors to cut the bottom and then the side. So it doesn't matter which side you decide to choose, as long as all your patterns are cut exactly the same way. If you want to speed up the process even faster, you can use a paper trimmer, which will ensure quite a lot of accuracy. So whichever way you choose to cut these out, don't worry about getting them out of order, because each page has a very light page number on it, so you won't lose them. So now let's get rid of our rubbish and we're ready to start putting this pattern together. I've kept my pages in numerical order, but it really doesn't matter if you don't. What we have is we have rows going across as numbers and columns going down as letters. So don't get too confused about that. Just take page 1 and you'll see on the side 1A. On page 2 you'll see 1A. All we need to do now is to line up these pieces and tape them together. After we line up piece 1 with piece 2, on the side here you'll see 1B. 1B will line up with page 3, 1B. Now clearly you need to take your time and be a teeny bit more accurate than me. And just continue putting your pattern together this way. When you get to the side of the row, either you'll see no number on the side or the number will change to number 2. So when we change to number 2, it means we need to start a new row. And just continue the process. Once you've reached the end of this row, we now need to put the rows on top of each other. So go ahead and assemble your pattern until it looks like a printed pattern. So here is the finished assembled pattern. It's a whopper. This one's 45 pages, but as you can tell, even though I cut this out reasonably fast and did a very quick tape job, it has come out pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that. It's pretty much nice and smooth. So the next thing we need to do is locate the size guide. So you're going to be looking for an image like this and just locate which size you require. So for a guideline, the medium I use on my pattern is equivalent to a US 8 or a size 12, and of course that has ease on it. So you need to now work out what size you are. So I include the actual garment measurements on the information sheet, but that will give you a bit of a guideline to get started on. So if you need to blend any sizes, say for a medium on top to a large on the bottom, that will give you an indication. So we go through and we look for the size that we require, and this image here will show you this is the 3XL, and here is our 3XL cutting line. So if this pattern still looks a little bit like a puzzle to you, get a highlighter and match the size you want, and just go over the size with a highlighter pen before you go ahead and cut that out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this pattern now, and then we'll move on to how we can store these patterns nice and easily. So my pattern is now cut out, and because I've used the plastic sticky tape, the clear tape, you'll find it's quite nice and sturdy, and the overlap isn't huge, so that will give us a pattern piece that will be very easy to chalk around and use. So now I need to store this. What I do is I use my pattern punch, and then if I have some notches, I go ahead and put the correct notches in the correct place. And just bear in mind that each of the different sizes has notches marked for the specific size. So make sure when you are notching that you notch the correct size. When all my pattern pieces are punched, I take a length of string and I thread my pattern pieces through. So next, I take the pieces that I've printed out, so the information sheet, the lay plan, the construction sequence, anything else I require, I put into a plastic sleeve. And this is just a standard plastic sleeve you'll find for any school or university type things at any stationery shop. The reason we use plastic sleeves is because there is a line drawing, a working drawing on the front, and it makes it easy to find the pattern I'm after. So all we do now is thread our string through one of the holes in the plastic file sleeve, and then if you can find it, a wire coat hanger, because they're nice and sturdy. And that is how our pattern is stored. Now you can store multiple patterns on the same coat hanger, and they're easy access because the line drawing is on the front page with all the information that you require, such as the fabric amounts, the seam allowances, the hem allowances, and everything is really accessible and easy to find. In addition to that, none of our pattern will get folded because we can just hang this up in the back of a wardrobe. So thanks for joining me with this video. I hope you got some use out of it, and I look forward to you joining me for my next pattern sew along video soon.